we have brackets, brackets, and more brackets. Hey, welcome back to the Odd Rod Garage. Today we have a whole bunch in store for you. We are working on the Land Rover. We're going to drop that LS in there. Today we're going to go through, we're going to fabricate actually a pretty darn nice little transmission crossmember. It actually bolts to the transfer case. We're going to make our own mounts because the transfer case normally would bolt straight to a plate and then it would have rubber mounts to the frame. We're doing this a little bit different because of the existing crossmember that we have. Anyway, we're going to make our own mounts. We're going to weld up a nice little plate for it. We need to cut in an area for the drive shaft to run through, so we're going to do a little recessed pocket, and we'll get on that. Then in addition to that, we're going to get this engine pulled out of here because we've done most of our mock-up at this point in time. We're going to get it pulled out. We're going to get it cleaned up. We're going to get it ready for some paint. We're going to move a little bit of the fuel lines and the brake lines, but that probably won't be today, but it'll be coming up here soon. But we're going to get this thing out of here because we're tired of looking at it, and Jeremy would love to have his truck back. Good thing in the air. We've been having weird weather here. A little bit of rain, a whole bunch of wind. I don't know what's going on. It's almost like it's the last days or something. Like that. Like that.
Yeah, and if you guys are doing this at home, if you can actually move the vehicle, you have a lot more control. You're not having to kick a bunch of weight around. There's no ABS on this thing.
That should be good, right? I don't like the way this thing's on here. It makes me go reverse every time.
Maybe we could remove the transfer case relatively.
All right, you can see the nice ugliness in here. We're gonna get the frame cleaned up, sprayed out. We're gonna paint these black, but the factory color back there we're gonna leave. We'll just clean it up a little bit. Possibly right down in here, we'll spray black. We gotta go through and finish weld our mounts. Now that we know that everything works, we'll make it look pretty and get it painted. So in our Land Rover conversion, the LS swap on the Land Rover, 84 I think it is, we had to make a custom transmission mount for our crossmember. So this is the old crossmember. It's not all cleaned up, but we did clean it up where we needed to. And so we took all of our measurements, and this is our crossmember that holds the transfer case and the transmission.
So this is the beginnings of our filler for the crossmember for the driveline on the Land Rover. So anyway, what's going to happen is we're going to end up with like a half moon relief, and once this is welded in place, then we'll just chop off the excess. Watcha, and it'll be super great. It'll be strong again. I'm gonna go ahead and paddle wheel these edges so we don't get a cool little splinter or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and prep the crossmember, and I'll meet you in a minute. This is the transmission crossmember for the Land Rover. Anyway, this line right here indicates the exact center of the yoke for the front driveline. This is the transmission pad here for the mount. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have found its center here, I'm going to go ahead and scribe it with a cutoff wheel, and then I'm going to clean all this up.
Alrighty, here's our tubing. We're going to drop this. We're going to chop ourselves a hole down in here so a drive shaft can go through there. And we'll weld this back in, tuck it all in. Now, this is the same thickness as this wall right here. It's very thin, but it should work. It worked from the factory, so it should work now. Alright, we have our tubing here. We're going to slice this down to where we have more of a C shape. And then we will we'll get a better measurement for our crossmember. We'll cut that out. We'll start notching it down in there. We should be about 1.5 inches there. We are 1 5/8 inches. That's perfect. All right, we'll get this thing welded in. And hopefully that's going to work. All right, we're going to trim this stuff back off so it gets down to where it's supposed to be, and we're going to put a weld joint on it. Well, let's get it ground up, see what it looks like. Let's see how she turned out. The old one, this is where we've made our modifications. There's a drive shaft that's going to run through there. That's why we had to have that notch, because we were putting a completely different transfer case in it. We're doing a 205 transfer case. It's about the strongest production case that I know of. And then we have our mount here on the back. All right, advanced adapters built an adapter to adapt a 700R to a NP205, because we believe that is an awesome transfer case. It's about the best as far as a factory unit's concerned, and they were in Chevys and Fords. They're a separate company. It's gear driven, not chain driven, and the 700R is awesome because it's non-computerized, so it's all done off from pressures and tensions. So advanced adapters sent this girl right here, and that's the spacer that goes right in between here, and then we bolt into that. So we'll see how this goes.
Alright guys, so we went ahead and we got the transfer case off. We'll show you here in a second. We're checking our back spacing on the drive, make sure we're not too deep. So there's a transfer case, transmission, the engine's coming off right now, and obviously we'll put the new motor that's been built, we'll put that all back together. But we wanted to show you here in a second. We're going to establish a torque converter into this transmission, and we're going to check our spacing between this profile and the edge of the torque converter versus the new flex plate that we got. You know, not to badmouth anybody, but always check that stuff when you guys are doing any kind of conversions. Just check it. It takes 20 seconds versus you know, destroying thousands of dollars worth of drive stuff, or just not even be able to get it together. So we're gonna go and dry fit the converter, and once it's in there, it's probably not in. And as you're jiggling it and spinning it and everything, what you're doing is you're actually jiggling it and you're splining it. You're splining the stator and all that. So anyway, typically on a Chevy, if the converter's all the way in, you won't be able to get your hands around the back of it. Alright, so about 1 1/16. I'm going to go check the engine. I'll be right back.
Alright, well, it's Friday afternoon. For you guys, it's Sunday morning. We didn't get our job accomplished. That being said, with the temperature, we appreciate you guys coming by and checking out what we do. Please subscribe to the channel, leave us a like, thumbs up, share the link, make a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.